Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Roberta, the Tool Lady. I'm the host of Put It All on Red. So, welcome to Put It All on Red tonight. Um, I am so excited. And I have so much gratitude for tonight, right? Because actually, we actually initiated sort of kind of a war. I'm not sure the status now, but we had some bombs dropped somewhere else. We had some things that were really scary for us here in America, right? And so I'm just thankful that because right after it happened, everybody was talking about sleeper cells and blah 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 blah. So it's kind of been like a 2 or 3 days like this. And I'm not sure if I'm not the only one that's like, okay, if I go to sleep, when I wake up, what's going to be happening, right? We wake up. So I'm just excited. I'm excited about being here tonight. I'm so thankful that none of those things really did take part. And I'm just so happy that you guys are joining me. Now, tonight, I have a show for you, and I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Judy, and I'm going to go ahead and ask her to come and introduce herself. We'll get going.
Hi, I'm Judy. I'm a social media coach. I'm a podcast host, and I'm also a medical assistant and a mother of three. I help coach other women how to grow their social media platforms and, monetize their content. I help men as well, but mostly women. And I just started my own podcast back in May. So I'm, getting into the swing of podcasting.
Yep. Now, Judy, I'm actually also doing the same thing, and Judy and I are sisters now because we both part of the same organization. This is how things have lined up here recently. So I'm also content coaching. Of course, I'm a life coach and a healing coach. So I'm putting those two together. So I want to know, what is your niche, Judy?
Well, my podcast is I based it around like helping women, like in relationship. Most of my podcast is going to be about like relationship advice or dating and being able to juggle like dating and making money at the same time.
Okay, so you was right on the topic then. Okay, so this is your one of your topics from one of your shows. You might carry this one on over to yours then. Well, all right. Well, welcome. We're very glad to have you. I'm very glad to have you here on Put It All on Red. And if you guys don't know, we're going to be talking about the value of a woman. Um, and are you a valuable woman? Yeah, woman of value. Um, so, first of all, I'm going to ask because I just told you kind of some of the things that have been on my mind after this bombing, and then just thinking, okay, can I go to bed tonight? And in the morning, is it going to be the same? What's going to happen? You know, how have you been mentally?
It's been I don't know, it's been crazy. It's been a mess and I'm actually leaving out of the country. Uh I leave July the 16th and they're talking about closing down, like stopping some flights and stuff. But I found out that where I'm going is not a part of whatever they're doing, as far as like stopping certain flights and stuff. Because this is my first time to Jamaica and the trip is
Okay,
over and non-refundable.
okay, and you got to get there.
I get that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, what happened was, um, that is part of it, right? The airlines, and actually, I read the day after where there were certain airlines broke down, not broke down, but they just stopped them, and then they have put on hold the traveling to different areas. So, yeah, it's very touchy. And it's very scary because you're like, okay, do you want to get your hit lick back, and how you gonna get your lick back, right?
Yeah.
We're human, so if you get to thinking like that, you're like, okay, of course, that's part of war. So I can understand. So let's say 1 to 10, where would you be at tonight
What, mentally or just in general?
in general? How you feel?
Like an 8.
Okay, all right then. Okay, all right. Well, I'm a 7 because, like I said, I've been like, and then was it yesterday, the day before? Oklahoma won the championship. I am an Oklahoman, Oklahoma City Thunder. All right. So, so I've been excited about that too. You're like, it's so crazy because so much is going on. You don't know to be mad, sad, happy. You just don't even know. Everything just goes like this, it seems like. Because I'm excited about that. And then I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen here? So it's just been a little bit of everything. And it's just too many people no clue of what's been going on. Yeah. No clue. They don't. And then, you know what though, I think it's a coping skill, right?
Yeah.
Of it, after you have so much go on, because we basically have been bombarded, especially if you're on social media. Like, I have to watch some of the stuff that I even allow myself to even look at, because I don't want to get bombarded, and I don't want to get that trends. I don't want that to be in my what's it called? I don't want to be feeling like that all day. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be thinking I got to be defensive. I don't want to, that's just too much work. What do you think, Judy?
No, I feel the same way because I had a best friend of mine yesterday. We were talking about the bombing, and she was the one that told me about the like stopping some of the airlines and stuff. And I had said something to her. She was like, "Girl, you don't watch the news?" I'm like, "It's depressing." I mean,
Right.
I watch it to an extent, but I got away from, oh, I got to watch the 5 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock. This is depressing. For one, I'm on social media. So if I want to see the news, I can just get on Facebook because they can
Right.
tell it all. But it's depressing. It really is. I mean, I
Right.
know we need to be aware of what's going on. And it's not that I'm not aware, but I don't sit and just like watch the news, like toned in, like I'm, binge watching something else. But
Right.
I'm aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's how I am too, because well, I lived in Philadelphia. I also lived in Memphis. So I've lived in, and now I live in Dallas. So I've lived in some
I love
dangerous.
Dallas.
So I've lived this, and Oklahoma is pretty dangerous too. I'm not fronting on nobody. So
Right.
I ain't go. Oklahoma is dangerous as well. But I've lived in a lot of cities that are considered dangerous. And one thing with living there, what I had to do as far as coping, because when I moved to Philadelphia, I was really young, like coming from a small town with a street in the middle of the town, 14,000 people, right? And here I am living in the west side of Philly by the plateau, by that park that Will Smith raps about. So it's
Yeah.
cars going in front of. So it's like a whole nother vibe, another world that I've never seen. But on top of that, every night there's a murder. So what I had to do, I stopped watching the news because I was like, if I don't watch it, then it's not
It's
gonna be
not bothering.
intimidating. Right. So that was my coping skill. And I have took that coping skill on to now. So it's been years that I don't watch the news like that because I want to protect my peace. Because sometimes not only, it's some truth in the news. I won't say everything is a lie, but it's told from different perspectives too. So there could be some error in it. I'll say it that way. So all news is not news. I'll say it's not valid, and because it's coming from a perspective. So I that's what I do to protect my peace, my energy, and the
Mm-hmm.
same way with being on social media, because there's so many things I responded to one. I had to respond to because they were like, Jesus is a liberal. And I was like, wait a minute, now y'all to put Jesus in it on this.
Right.
Yeah, what is going on with y'all? Now he to the far was at the left and everybody else on the. I was like, what the heck is or what the hell is going on? I think that's what the hell and what the heck. That's this year. I think that's this year's song. But anyway, I was like, how'd you come up with this? Um, so I did respond, and honey, I got some pages back on it.
Some people say a lot of stuff to like try to trigger people or get people aroused. And at one point I was like, when I, was getting monetized on Facebook, and I'm like, shoot, if people argue with me, I'm gonna respond back because it ain't doing nothing but getting me paid. But sometimes I'll be wanting to ignore some. I ain't gonna lie, some stuff I can't ignore. And I know
Right.
it sounds crazy because just as much as I can manifest like negative stuff, I can do the same for positive stuff. But some stuff you just feel like you just gotta say something. Like, why would you say something so stupid? Like,
Right,
your place, that was stupid. But
baby. And they had all kind of white Jesuses on there. I was like, what is going on with this? So I was like, why y'all doing this? How y'all gonna bring that man in this? He can get, his thoughts are way higher than our thoughts.
yeah.
And he, this we are petty and considerate to who our creator is. We could never line up with his thoughts. He said over and over in scripture. So, when we get to thinking we're bigger than God or we're smarter than God, that's where it's a problem. That's my view. I'd be like, did you talk to him? If you didn't talk to him, you need to leave him out of it. But that's it. He's, I consider him my friend, right? So I know we're gonna talk about woman of value and what that means to us. Is somebody said I went viral on a post yesterday, just telling everyone about the airport. People went off. Oh yeah, they didn't want to hear that. They was pissed. They was like, because people, they, the whole thing with social media is that, again, it's from a point of view, so some truth and there's some false. And when people are on social media, they're thinking, especially if it's something that makes them uncomfortable, like, oh, that got to be false. And now we got AI, so you got all kind of false stuff on
Hmm.
social media. So I could, yeah, I seen that post. Everybody was upset. They was like, "Nah, my cousin just came from Hawaii." Yeah. Now, I guess that would be our touchy subject tonight. Is sort of some of the things that we're talking about now. Tell me one thing that happened that was really extraordinary or amazing within the last 24 hours to you.
Um. Hmm. I'm trying to think. If I'm gonna be honest, um, I had, a situation with my Duke bill, right? And I needed help paying it because, my paycheck fell a little funny. And I didn't know because I have Medicaid, Care Source, medical insurance. And
Hmm.
something just told me to reach out to these people and they pay my Duke bill.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Because I was really in here like, what am I gonna do? I need my lights, I need my internet to work, and just all kinds of stuff. But they ended up paying my Duke bill.
Okay, okay. Now I just asked it because that's kind of like the therapist of me or the old therapist is just to switch our thoughts because it's some heavy negative stuff, but it's some good stuff happening, right? Uh, my good thing was I love root beer, right? And my neighbor accidentally bought some root beer. She thought it was Diet Coke.
Uh-oh.
So she had cut them up real nice. She had the little bitty root beers, and she had took them apart, put them in her refrigerator. And I guess she went to go, start drinking on them, and it was root beer instead of Diet Coke. So she brought me a whole bag of root beer that was already cold. I was like, girl, if this ain't God, but we have to look for that somewhere, right? And she was holding the bag. She was like, would you like these? Because, that root beer and blah, blah, blah. I was thinking in my mind when I seen that barges, I was like, oh, girl, yeah, I will take this off your hands. so, so as soon as I got them in the house, I started opening bottles. I felt like I was drinking Crystal or something. And I was excited about it because that's something I really enjoy drinking. I love root beer soda. So yeah, we gotta look for we gotta take the little things. We gotta be
Yeah,
mindful and take those little things. So that's great. You got a bill paid. I got some root beer soda,
got root beer.
and we winning. We was winning, right? So now we're here. Now the topic is simple pleasures. That's right. That's right. Simple pleasures. It's being mindful of it and being able to celebrate them, right? Because it's not big stuff, but the little things.
Yeah, I'm learning to celebrate everything, big or small.
Right, right. 'Cause that's what matters. That's what matters. If you if I get excited over a root beer, could you imagine? Could you imagine? And and I got a coworker in my day job. She calls me Southern Belle because she's saying I'm country. But could you imagine how excited I'll be over something great, something that's going to be greater than that root beer? I'm gonna be off the roof. Once we hit that six figures, that
Mm-hmm.
$1 million figure, I'm gonna be through the roof. So I'm waiting on that, but I'm gonna celebrate these small things till I get there. So
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. Now let's go to the topic. It seems like you are more versed in this than I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw the ball to you. Now, what is a woman of value? Because one thing about it, let me tell my audience, I posted this and nobody, I mean, they would put like a heart on it, but nobody was like, oh yeah, that's me. Nobody. And I have, I think, 600 people um, on that one media place, and nobody,
Threads was.
huh?
I think that was Threads where I saw it. Saw
Yeah, it
that.
was on Threads, yes. And I have 600 friends on there, and then I it's like
That's
50,
good.
and it's like 1,500 people traffic, right? Have
Yeah.
seen it, but Judy was the only one that was like, oh yeah, that's me. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. So, Judy, now I'm going to throw the ball to you. Woman of value, what is that?
Um, Honestly, first I'm gonna start off by saying when I saw your post, I think it's because I'm so like excited and intrigued to be doing a podcast and stuff. So when I saw your post and saw, that you were offering like to have guests on there, I'm like, wait, that's a way for me to one come out of my comfort zone because starting my podcast was me coming out of my comfort zone because I grew up, believe it or not, shy, but if people, follow me on my social medias, you would never think that unless you knew me. So this is me coming out of my shell, and I'm like, shoot, let me, whatever the interview is, I can get some type of, help or guidance or, comfortability from being on this woman's podcast, and then I can know what to do, for future episodes of my own or even being a guest on somebody else's podcast. I saw podcasts and I saw guests, and I'm like, boom, this is another woman. Let me see what this is about. So that's why I hopped on your post because with me having different mentors in this like social media realm, I'm learning to I got to jump out there because if I keep sitting back waiting, I'm gonna miss some stuff.
Right. Right.
So when I saw your post, I'm like, let me jump on that and, you know, make myself come out of my comfort zone. And I have a my podcast mentor, I think she might have been on your post or she saw it or whatever, but I think she knew that I commented on it because I communicate with her. And she told me, she said, go ahead and give it a shot. She said, because you won't know, until you do it. So until you do it. So I don't know. And because my podcast is in the dating field and making money at the same time. And one of my
Mm-hmm.
taglines that I've been starting to use is get out your feelings and get in your bag.
Yeah. 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 Because it will. If we feel like we're not worthy or we don't have value, we won't step out. We won't. And that's something that we have to tell
Yeah, and
ourselves.
like I said, yeah, because like I said, for a while I, been growing up shy, and I would, I'm kind of laid back. I still am to an extent, but I used to come out my shell more, and I used to honestly, be down on myself and wonder why, so many other people, oh, so and so's doing this, how are they doing this, and I'm not doing it, or I can't do it, or, and I'm like, I gotta stop telling myself that because just as much as I can tell myself I can't, I can tell myself that I can.
Right. 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 Yeah. I believe it. I believe it. And it's true. There's more. Like this is the example of we talked about all that negativity and then that root beer, right?
Yep.
And you got your bill paid, right? So it's some light shining in from somewhere. We just got to catch that ray when we can catch it, especially in these days. I'll say, because it's if we get so absorbed in it. I know that I'm an empath, so I'll get really stuck. Meaning, I'll get sad because I feel what other people feel. Do you ladies feel being a woman of value depends on where you're where you are in life? I'm gonna let you answer that. Do you think it's where you are in life? You think so, Judy? Have we froze?
In a way, yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I think in a way, kind of.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
what because I also feel like you are, you yourself are your own, like biggest critic.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Now I often post on all of my social media, get out your own head. Get out of your own head
Mm-hmm.
because usually it's us, right? It's us.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think like for the answer with that, are you talking about because this is it's such a big question, right?
Yeah.
Asking, does it depend on where you are in life? Because you could be in a self-actualization point. You could
Mm-hmm.
meaning you could just be happy with yourself. I like to think that I feel like that. Like I'm just content at this point with myself, right? I cut my hair a couple of weeks ago, and what's so funny, I cut my hair, and everybody that knows me is like, what made you do that? And then they're like, well, everybody don't like it either. So they're like, what's going on? But and that's it's women and men. And then what's funny, I keep telling them this is a joke about it. I'm like, but I'm gonna catch me a Mexican man because they've been pulling up on me, so they like this afro. But saying that, it where are we talking about? Where at in life? Are we talking about financially? Are we talking about just in how we feel about ourselves, or what are we talking about? Because I think that all Um,
Talk about how value men do you think it
masculine to be considered a high value woman. Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's loaded. What do you think, Judy?
I feel the same way you feel. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know why it would be considered masculine. I mean, because if a man can think highly of himself, I mean, a person in general, male or female, should think highly of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about that one.
Okay, so that answers a lot. Said Kevin Samuels started this. Okay, well now and he can rest in peace. I'm not going to drag him, but I don't think Kevin Samuels. I mean, he's not here to defend himself, but I don't think he really liked women. I think there's some men who don't like women, and they might not like men either, but they don't like women. They have problems with men and women relationships, and I think he was one of them. That's just my personal view about him. I think he liked it. He liked attacking women, and I think that it was very chauvinist, and men, and men love chauvinist stuff, right? I don't know why, but a lot of men that's they stuff, that's their jive. Like, but for me, if I'm high value, I would like to know, are you a high value man?
Right.
So, and then if it where's the value at? I guess that's going back to the other question. Is it because I feel esteemed with myself, or is it because I'm educated, or is it because I can take care of myself? Where we're talking about, so it could be a varied on this woman of value.
Mhm.
It could be a very um, now there is let's see. Oh, my phone's on. There is a woman of virtue in the Bible. Uh, And so I don't know if that's close to who this woman of value is, but I consider myself a woman of value. I do, because I think I just have this thing that no matter what, if I get into it, it's going to be, I'm going to add value to it. So if I go somewhere, I'm adding value to that room. If I'm your friend, I'm adding value to you. You know, I like to think that way. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Judy?
I honestly, I do. I feel the same way. I feel like I add some type of value in whatever room I step foot in. I
Yeah.
don't I don't care who's in it.
Right, right, right. Because you're gonna bring Judy with you, right?
Yep.
So you bring Judy, you bring in the table with you.
Yes.
Right. We can be an asset or a liability choices, and that's true. Now my grandfather taught me that young, right? He used to say, a bad man can take down a good woman, but a bad woman can also take down what? A good man.
Yep.
You know, yeah, that was his saying, and I was like, that makes sense, because that person may take that person down, and I mean, uh, a good example of it was the content creators that unalived themselves what a week ago, right?
Mhm.
And they unalive. Are you familiar with the ones I'm talking about?
No,
It was a
I don't.
husband and wife. I'm believing they were from Florida, and they were on a
Did they
live.
have a little boy?
I don't know if they had a child, but they weren't alive prior, right before they killed themselves. Well, actually, the guy
Mm.
killed the wife, and then he unalived himself.
Oh.
Yeah, they were arguing over the internet about cheating, and it went way too far. And my thing is that if you have something, especially a marriage or relationship, even a friendship, you don't take it outside of that. You don't take it outside yourself. You know what I'm saying? Those two parties. You don't take it somewhere else. You definitely don't take it
But
to social media.
business.
Right, right. You don't take it to social media. That puts too much pressure on, because here it is, just like we just said, a good woman and a bad man, or a bad man and a good woman, a bad man and a good woman. Either way, here you are putting pressure on yourself because now you done told everybody your business, but you still with this person. That puts a lot of pressure on you, because now even if you didn't want to do anything, you kind of you forcing your hand to what?
Yep.
To make a move. You got to make a move now. Were you gonna say something, Judy?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. So I think that's the both of it. Okay, that one I probably can answer that one a lot easier, because um, what would we look for in a spouse?
Huh?
What would you look for in a spouse?
Um. Well, aside from what I consider like the norm, like communication and trust and honesty. Honestly, because of who I am and what I do and what I know I can bring, I would at least want my spouse to be doing the same thing, and sometimes, if not more independent on the situation. He may not be able to do more than me at the moment, but he got to at least be doing something. He got to, meet me halfway.
Okay. And you don't have an order like a tall guy, how he gonna wear his hair. You don't have an order.
I honestly, it's for when it comes to stuff like that, I think my taste is all over the place.
So you don't have no specific order. So you gonna throw a Hail Mary when you come. So they don't
And I
know who you gonna walk in with, huh?
at least be taller than me because I'm 5'1".
Okay, okay.
So be taller than me. And the reason why I said the first thing I said is because I have 3 children, and they all,
Mhm.
they all have different dads. But my 14-year-old, her dad is 6'3", and people look at me all the time like, how? Like, how did that happen? Little. So that's why I said sometimes I think my taste in that area is all over the place. I don't think I have an order. Now I do. I'm not gonna lie. I love a man with locks, some crispy locks, or a nice haircut.
Okay, okay. So he has to be
But
well.
aside from a lot of people say, "Oh, looks are everything for me," and but I don't want a guy that's too long me in the bathroom getting ready. I don't. I don't take a long time.
You don't want
But
a guy. You don't want a guy that grooms himself more than you.
yeah, I can only do my hair and everything. I can go to throw some edge control on here and be ready to go.
Well, for me, I like tall men. I'm short myself, so it don't take much to be taller than I am. But I like tall men.
Mhm.
I go for chocolate men. I love chocolate men. Something about chocolate. and my skin looks like a Reese cup.
It
So
look good.
I'm just saying, it looks like a Reese cup when it's tight together, right? So somebody, understandable, lovable, a communicator. Now I like a leader in a man. So you really,
Yes.
because I'm pretty much aggressive myself. So I have to have somebody who's gonna be like be able to be my soundboard and kind of redirect me.
And
And
hand.
yeah, yeah, I really have to have somebody like that in my life if we're gonna be in a relationship, because I have to feel like I can follow you as well. Uh, Integrity, yeah, and leadership, yeah,
Leadership
is
is a big one.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Because I got to feel comfortable with you leading me, because I know honestly that I that's one part of me that I have to have, in a relationship. I don't want a relationship that I'm the leader. I don't want that. I want somebody who's
Yeah.
and I would like somebody crafty, like that can change your oil, or like paint the house. I want to be able to do some things like that. Maybe cook, every now and then. I like men that are crafty as well. So yeah, I got a whole grocery list. I got a list, y'all. So
That sound like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I love a man that can cook. They always say, "Oh, I want my woman to do this." What's wrong with us women wanting a man that know how to cook?
right, right, right. And we can share. I mean, you do your special deal, I'm gonna do my special meal. But yeah, I think that combo, or that constant combo, is pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Tiffany Haddish and said this in because you just brought up. She said that women who have more than two baby daddies are something's mentally wrong with them.
I think
Uh,
I heard that before, and not that I was necessarily offended because I do. Like I said, I have 3 children, and each
yeah,
one have their own dads. But people can say what they want to say. I'm a firm
right,
believer stuff happens.
right, right. And the other part about it, she ain't got no kids, and she's something is wrong with her. So what's her excuse?
I just look at cause see, I'm the type of person that I make a joke out of certain things in my life. Like I talk about myself first, so that way when somebody else go to talk about me, it don't bother me because I'd already said it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's life. I was raised by a man and a woman, which was my grandfather and father. I mean, grandfather and grandmother, right? And so that was what we would say was a traditional relationship. But even back then, it wasn't that traditional, because there was still a lot of single family homes, right? It just happened to be the family that my mother was in was a mother and a father. Now I'm saying that to say, as an adult, because I've seen a lot of times they say like, you should have picked a better baby father, right? So I've seen that too, where they turn the question around. But the truth is that you don't have the same foundation or the same formula that they had. You see what I'm saying? And I know for me, I got with men who they didn't have that formula. They didn't have they didn't have they weren't really good guys, to be honest with you. And one thing about a guy, and even women, they'll send a representative. When they want to date you, you meeting somebody that they not, right? And people
Right.
don't
They
uh you said until they get comfortable. Yeah, yeah.
was like you were just saying beginning when you started there. And I'm a firm believer in, be yourself. That way you give me the opportunity, you give me the chance to say whether I want to stay or leave.
Yeah, yeah. But what I found is that men don't, and some women don't either. But certainly I know men, because that's my experience. I know men don't, right? They'll tell me, "Oh, I go to church." You get with them, you get married, they don't want to never go to church. Hate the church. You be like, "I thought you said when we met you go to church." That was for the end, right? That was for the end, right? So and even with talking about domestic violence, I've had a marriage like that, and you like, so is this wrong? And then he said, well, no, you know what, it's not wrong, because my dad used to beat up my mom. What? Wait a minute. So you should have told me this when you was showing me all those pretty pictures, but you missed this one part until now. So men do that, and they do have a lot of stipulations on what they want, but they're not always forthright either. That's just my experience.
What happened?
Huh? What'd you say, Judy? Judy, were you saying something?
No, I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, did you have anything to say about it?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, they do. They send their representative. So that representative is usually really good. All the things on your list, because you like, okay, he got some money. He shares. He's thoughtful. Everything. And then once they've got that commitment, yeah, it changes.
Yep, that's why I said they get comfortable.
Yeah. 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 And then you see who they really are.
Yep.
As so it's not necessarily that as women that we picked the wrong one. It's actually that's who we met versus them being kind of what's the word? Kind of, I would say, trickish. If you introduce you as somebody else and then really use somebody else, that's pretty much turning. That's like doing a trick on somebody.
They catfishing.
Right, right, and they do. So
They start showing.
that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? Now, with back to our subject, what would you say are 5 things a woman of value should have
um,
or should be? I would say, because it doesn't have to be tangible.
5 things she should be.
Yeah, that she should bring to the table, as Samuels would say. What you got to offer?
Um, Intelligence is one.
Okay.
Intelligence. Hmm. I didn't think. Well, let me not say that.
What do you bring to the table?
And it can be any. With well, I feel with me. Intelligence. I have a sense of humor. I'm what's the word? Empath. Um, I care.
Hmm.
Um, I'm real big on like family in it, and I know how to listen. They say we don't like to listen all the time, but I like to. But like you said, I like to be led. like you said, I don't want to be the leader all the time. And I feel like because I'm a single mom, I'm leading already. So I want a break from being the leader. I want somebody
Yeah,
to lead me.
yeah, yeah. I think that's why I feel like that too, because I was a single mom for a long time, like 7, 8 years, and that's yeah, acts of service. That's what I like too. I think that's what I feel like. I don't feel like I wanna, and I don't want I what I don't like now, which I could get better. I could get better. I could work on it, but I don't want to like have to impress you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to look good. At least I think I like to look good, right? But I don't want to be like impressing you. I don't like that. I don't want to be. I don't think that's genuine if I have to impress you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer, coming as I am because I don't always wear lashes and stuff like that. There's times where I go without lashes. The most I might put on is some lip gloss. You see, I got locks. I don't always get a fresh retwist. I throw it back in the ponytail like I got now. But
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like take me as I am, and if you can't, then you might wake up next to me. I might have slob running down my cheek or something. But
Right, right, right. Well, I'm gonna say why. I had a date with a guy, and basically, the stuff because I was in a rush. So the chore was to prepare a meal. So what I did, I went to the store and bought the stuff. I I just bought it from the deli. I didn't prepare anything. So what he said it. I didn't have time to prepare it. Well, duh, I didn't. But but you know, to him that was like some marks off. To me, I felt like he was already looking for some marks off. What do you think about that?
he was looking for a way out or something.
Right, right. Because if that's your excuse, what you didn't have time, and you didn't even prepare a salad for me. What? No, I didn't have time. And actually, it came
Yeah,
from a good.
already looking for.
So he already looking for it. That's what I said. He was asked what I said, and that's what I was thinking about with this. The woman of value stuff. That's already like being on a guard as far as a woman. And I've seen a lot of times too on social media say, you don't want a woman because you want to argue with them, or you want to dispute what that woman is or what that woman brings or what a woman brings to you. So but you might want to date a man. I've heard them tell people that too when they get to talking like this. So it's like, what are they looking for? I don't think they have a clue.
Yeah,
I
a
really,
lot of them.
yeah, I don't think they do. I think, I don't think they have a clue. Uh, I think they're searching. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's I don't know. It's kind of trivial to me. What is that woman of value?
Yeah.
So how about you? Have you had any fall-ins with a guy, or should I say fallouts?
With a guy about what? Or just I don't.
Say like the woman of value, or what they say they wanted. Like that guy, he wanted me to prepare something. Instead, I bought it, and that was evidently not up to his. That was not what he was expecting, or what he was willing to accept, or whatever. Have you had any situations like that?
No, not recently. No, nope, nope, not that I can think of. No, I think it really just depends on the person. Like I said, that man just sounded like he was already just. He sounded like he was spoiled.
Right, right. Right. And I didn't meet his expectations. Didn't I? Didn't I? Did not. Right. And I think so too. But how do these men get spoiled like that?
Sometimes I would say, you know how they say a lot of stuff starts at home. Sometimes I don't even believe in that, because sometimes certain stuff that go on at home be the reason why, they do the opposite or whatever, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or, stuff that they have seen could make them, can make them the way that they are. I don't know. Or maybe he could be, and I could be wrong, he could have been somebody that maybe, he grew up in the house where his mama always cooked for his daddy, and he felt like that's what he got to look for. And when he dating, and it's like, okay, sometimes I may not have time, but you gonna eat. I might not have time to prepare,
Right.
you gonna eat.
Right. Right. And of course, that's coming from the lady that loves root beer. So, hey, I think that's a win. So, hey, I'm thinking you the one.
It don't take much to please me either. You could take me on a picnic and I'm fine.
Right. That part. I don't, I
Give me
mean, I
some bologna
wouldn't.
and some grippos and I'm okay.
Right. Yeah, I would be just as happy. I love the chicken. I bought some chicken and it was a salad. And I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, he was spoiled. He wanted, yeah, I don't know.
Right, right. And by the way, that's the person that was like, "Are you a woman of value?" I was like, "What the hell? What are you talking about?" Again, I said I could be the aggressive one. I could be the aggressive one, so I could be honest about that. So I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I was like, "What is this about?" I don't know. I just wanted to kick that around. And if I have any women of value that are listening, y'all tell me what you bring to the table. Because I think you got to be like Judy. You got to know definitely you bring it something. I'll say it that way. You're definitely bringing something. I would like to know what is my audience bringing to the table. If anybody's out there that want to share, and what are you bringing to the table? Okay, yeah, I want to know. I want to know. And I always admire individuals who've been together for years. I really do. I always admired that.
Yeah.
I do. One day, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right now, maybe it is too like in my own world here, but and I think too, being a woman, and I hate to say strong, but being a woman who is aggressive or who is a leader, it's also hard for us to find men. What do you think about that?
It's crazy because I felt like that too. I keep feeling like that. And not that I'm like jealous or anything, but I be looking at, certain situations, then I take a step back and look. But then I also look like, maybe, you know what? Maybe that's God's way of telling me it ain't my time yet. My man is out there somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
he's ready yet. I don't know. But
yeah.
do I wonder, like, and it's crazy because I have a younger brother. Let me see, I'm 36. My brother is, I think he about to be 35. Oh shoot, I forgot. But he's done been married twice already. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong?
Well, now, okay, you just said it. Is he still with the second wife?
No. And that's
Okay.
another thing.
Well, see, so he and I in the same boat. We could catch him, But then we be trying to throw them back out once we figure out who they are. We like, oh no, we don't want you no more.
Right.
You stink, babe. You something ain't right with you. So yeah, and it says every relationship is different. However, love yourself before you love someone else. I think that's the best advice for everyone listening, actually, to have some self love. Because sometimes, especially as women, which makes it so I would say unfair, because usually we're the givers anyway, and we're the nurturers. We're usually taking care of everybody. We're usually caring for everybody, and then you're bombarding us with what we bring it to the table. Really we're bringing a whole lot. Anything you give us, we're gonna multiply it. I guarantee you. If it's a good woman, we're gonna make it happen. What you think about that?
I feel the same way.
Okay. Okay. And if you love yourself, you gotta love yourself before you can love someone else. I think that's where a lot of relationships go bad, because they go based off of, what I do for you or what you do for me, versus just I love myself. Because sometimes once you come from the I say the entanglement, or the engagement as it is, if it's based off of something and you don't have love for yourself, that's where it falls apart at.
Mm-hmm.
Because one day you figure out, oh, I'm being disrespected, or this ain't worth it. I gotta love myself. I don't love myself if I'm sitting here letting these things go on like this, or letting this person treat me a certain way.
Mm.
So I think that's what that is. Now, before we get off of here, Judy, you want to tell them how to find you?
Everybody can find me on my Facebook as Judy Danielle. That's JUD, two Y's, and Danielle. My Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, it's all the same name. It's dot Judy Baby, so it's ITS dot Judy Baby.
All right.
Oh,
Oh,
and I have a YouTube channel as well. It's called
it's Judy's World.
Judy's World.
Okay. All
And
right.
my podcast is called Juice with Judy Unfiltered, and it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio right now.
All right. Okay. So now you know how to find Judy. And Judy, we really appreciate you talking to us tonight. We look forward to the networking. We look
Yeah.
forward to you growing. We look forward to myself growing.
Yep.
So again, we're both kind of starting on the same journey. Mine is my niche is actually helping individuals heal, and using that as content as well to make money. So that's going to be my goal, and it is helping women. Working with women, women empowering women. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, I feel like mine, kind of the same thing. And I think, both of our niches are, very relatable. And it's crazy because certain life events and stuff is actually what made me start podcasting and content and stuff. So I feel like I'm telling my story through my content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. And that's why I decided to go, because I'm always so dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is dark. It is black is actually my favorite color. So everything is so dark with me, but it's because of past experiences. So that is why I want to help others that go from healing to thriving to surviving to making some money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Continue to check in with me every second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday.
Okay.
Enjoy your holiday. Love y'all. Thank you for tonight. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
There's a sparkle